Bowling Green Falcons wrap up the season Friday at noon, hosting the Ohio Bobcats, and we welcome in from the road Todd Walker, who is down in Florida with the Bowling Green men's basketball team. Todd, thank you for taking some time away from the beach and coming inside with us tonight.
I think it should be noted my dedication to BCSN to pull myself away from the beach and assorted beverages of different types to join you for this important program.
Let's talk about this Falcon and Bobcat matchup. You kind of touched on it last week. This is sort of like a bowl game, not so much because of prestige on the line, but you really have to worry about the motivation for both teams because it is the last game of the season for both Ohio and Bowling Green.
Yeah, I think that's going to tell the story Friday. I think Bowling Green really wants to finish the season on a positive note with all they've been through. I can't speak to Ohio's motivations. I know they lost last week to Toledo in a game they were pretty competitive, and it looks like it's been sort of Ohio's story this year. They've been competitive in a lot of games when they didn't manage to win. Of course, a few weeks before the season, Coach Solich stepped down. I'm sure that threw some shockwaves through the program. So they've had a bit of a strange season. So we'll see. Maybe both teams show up, play, and we get a high-level, entertaining game. We'll just have to wait and see. But I do think these day after Thanksgiving affairs always turn out to be a question of motivation. And if both teams are motivated, they can be quite good. But if one or the other isn't, sometimes they turn into real snooze fest.
How important is it for the Falcons not only to get a win to go into the offseason, but to get a win at the Deutsch Perry, a MAC win at home, something they haven't done for a while?
Yeah, they've struggled at home. Frankly, they've struggled whether home or away the last several years. I don't know that it's hugely important to get a win necessarily, but I do think this team needs to be competitive and show something this last game against Ohio. I think it would be a huge negative if they went out there and did not perform well. This is going to be their last chance to be on the field for this season and take that into the postseason or the off season, if you will. So they need a good performance, and then if they win, I think that would be just icing on the proverbial cake.
What's the mood of the Falcons like following a game against Miami in which they simply did not compete at all? Is there a concern that they've packed it in and they're just going to go through the motions on Friday, or is that not what Scott Loeffler's team's all about?
No, I would counter the argument they were not competitive against Miami. They jumped out to the lead. Frankly, should have had a two-score lead. Tyrone Broden dropped a touchdown pass before Terrion Stewart broke another long TD run. The defense, I thought, hung in there all game. Miami, just as the game went on, started to have some success. And again, it came back to Bowling Green was unable to maintain possession of the ball. They didn't move the ball at all. And really, I think what we're seeing is the offensive line. The week off they had before the Toledo game possibly didn't really help at all. I think every team now has figured out they're just going to attack this offensive line and really overwhelm them. And Bowling Green's offense has regressed in its numbers the last several games from where they were at the beginning of conference play. And right now, I think it's just a question of can they make enough big plays offensively? I don't know that this team could put together a 10 or 12 play drive right now. If Terrion Stewart doesn't hit a long ball or they don't get Tyrone Broden free or something like this, the last several games, this team's not scoring if it isn't a big play or a short field. So I think that's really the concentration for this week. And I think that's what happened to them last week. Miami didn't give them any short fields. They played a very sound game, didn't help Bowling Green out, and just inexorably pulled away.
Let's wrap up with this. We know Scott Loeffler's job is secure. Everybody at Bowling Green supports him, understands the rebuilding process. Do you think there'll be other coaching changes? Do you think maybe some assistants might be coming and going, or do you think you're going to see the staff at 2021 be back for 2022?
Well, I would put this caveat on it. I don't think Coach Loeffler is looking to make any changes. Now, that doesn't mean some of those guys won't find other opportunities, especially some of the younger guys that are really looking to be on the move. But I think the staff works together well. I think they're a very accomplished staff. I think they're all of the same mind. Many of them have been with Coach Loeffler in other capacities before, believe in what he's doing, believe in what they are doing, believe in what Bowling Green is doing. So I think the staff will remain relatively stable. I'd be shocked if there's no movement. That's a very rare thing. But I think all the main guys, the top lieutenants, I don't anticipate any changes.
All right, thank you very much, Todd Walker, the voice of the Falcons on the Bowling Green State University Radio Network. Thanks, Todd.
You're welcome, Mark.